We got the 5 likes already. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, turn it up. Excuse me, sweetie. I'm sorry. All right. Alive. Let's see. Where are we at here? Where are we at? Try to see if I can get some people on here first. Who's watching? Let's see. So let's go ahead and give out the spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Thor Love and Thunder or Miss Marvel,
If you haven't seen anything, if you haven't seen a damn thing,
a couple of people. I'm excited though to talk about all this shit. I've had so much. The night of fucking Miss Marvel, I don't think I went to sleep. And I probably kill her out with every goddamn talk of every possibility known to goddamn man of what's gonna happen. Didn't I? Pretty much. Is that right? Because I'm always looking ahead to see where they go. Where they're going with it. I'm never looking at the, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm never looking at, I never take things for this totality because I don't think it's meant to be taken in totality. I think these are pieces of a pizza that everybody gets a slice, so everybody has a different opinion of how it tastes. But it all in the end, it came from that same big ass pizza when it's all looking at the aerial view. I think that's what they do. I feel like they give you different slices of pizza.
yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what it is, man. Like, a lot of it's like episodic for me. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I feel about it. And then like the big crossover events are like the season finale or whatever, you know, that kind of thing.
Who's in the chat? I see 3 people watching. Who's in the chat? Say what's up. Say hey. Wave.
Wait. Let us know you're here.
Who's in the chat? Oi.
We're about to get into it.
Well, we're gonna dig deep today. I might hurt some people's feelings, and I'm here for it.
And we will be referencing doing comic book references. So if y'all have anything to add, then please do so because it always helps out in the combo.
For sure.
Or if you just want to leave an opinion, that is okay too. That's what it's all about.
We got 5 minutes. What's it say? Yeah, 5. What's that? I can't. Wait, I guess you can't do any lives. Anything. What the fuck? On my phone, you can't. Are you on the thing? I was gonna say, do that. Share it on the store. You can. I don't know if they'll let you. You wouldn't let me on my iPad. I don't know why.
It's sort of like, I'm not on, I don't know.
Oh, no worries, man. No worries. No worries. I can't trip it. Twitter. Can't do this these days. And I can't put it on Facebook.
And it's just now 4:30, so. We got 5 people.
I'm talking Marvel today. We talking Marvel today.
Marvel, Miss Marvel, Thor Love and Thunder, Phase 4 in general.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson. They've been putting that picture up of like the old picture of the Rock, and they put Korg in it.
Yeah.
Shit's fucking hilarious. I love it. I love it. I want to get some people in chat so I can make sure I can hear myself.
That's why I turned it up a little bit so you can hear. They ain't saying nothing else when I stay.
No, I just want to make sure that. Oh yeah, I understand. Yes. I can hear you. Yeah. Okay. There we go. I was wondering like where it was at in the stream. It just was 4:30. Yeah, it was.
That's where, that's where yours is.
I'm gonna give it maybe a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. So, this is spoiler alert. If you haven't not seen Thor or Miss Marvel, you gotta come back later.
If you ain't seen shit, go watch it and then come back.
Yeah, I was gonna say watch it and come back.
If you're really behind and ain't watched anything, forget about it. Or if you want to put in the time to watch everything, go right ahead. But I assume most people keep up with what's going on.
Misha. Thank you, Misha.
Thank you. Oh yeah, this is genius. All my stuff might be on here. Yeah. I wish I could put the full reaction of that The Boys on fucking YouTube, but man, there's some nasty shit in there that I can't put on there. And I was actually surprised, but I'm not really surprised. But I feel like They did that in like the first season with that weird soup orgy shit.
Yeah.
That shit was so weird. I was just so confused, but at the same time, I was like, I like shit that go there. If you're gonna go there, go there. And I commend the bravery every time, regardless if it's trash or not. Do I think it was trash? No. Do I think it was needed? No. Do I think it had any play to any context? No. Not until midway through the end of the first of that season. Maybe like the 6th or 7th episode is when it connects, and I'm just like, bro, you could have done something else with this guy. Like, Lord. It's almost like the first episodes that she was watching Euphoria, and it was just nothing but man ass.
No, that's what I was getting ready to talk about. I'm like, they got some Euphoria type shit in there.
Mm-hmm.
Euphoria,
She's like, fuck it.
skins or whatever. Yeah.
Euphoria's good though.
No, I don't doubt it. I see a lot of people that do talk about it away from
It's good.
the stuff. So, but I guess we can go ahead and get started. I'm Fireworks. I got White Gold here with me, and Dizzy is here. Shout out to Noah. He couldn't make it today, but we'll get him back for the next one that we do, probably on Black Panther, or we might even do one before with She-Hulk, or there's probably going to be some news with the D23 and Comic-Con next week. So with all the news that might come out, it might be so good of news that we might have to gather up and hit a live stream. You feel me? So.
Or Note. Note
Yeah.
comes out Friday, so
Oh yeah.
we will be checking that out too.
Yeah, we definitely got to check that out. So, the first thing we're going to talk about today is Thor Love and Thunder. I know it's been some time, and I think it's been a good amount of time because there's been a lot of controversy. There's been a lot of, I don't like it. It's a waste. It's trash. Don't bring, I don't know how you say the director's name, but they said don't bring him back for Thor 5.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, Taika Waititi.
For me personally, I really enjoyed the movie from start to pretty much finish. For me, I think Thor is someone who now has a 4th movie. He has had movies that tied into the Infinity Saga, and he now has left that saga because it's over. You really not necessarily can just really jump into a huge Thor ordeal without bridging some type of gap unless you had him a cameo in another film, which led to that. So for me, I was kind of satisfied with everything. I think maybe if I had a problem with the movie, it was probably the length of the movie. I think that maybe they cut some stuff, which I'm sure they did. There's probably a longer cut out there. I've seen something like a 4-hour cut. And I'm not really interested in a 4-hour cut of a fucking Thor movie, I'm gonna be honest with you. But I'm interested in a 3-hour one. I think it could have added an extra 30 minutes. And I think that 30 minutes could have maybe went to a younger Gore the God Butcher, like going the full length of the story. And then, having him grow up believing the gods, and then after he has his own what happened. I think that would have been cool. Or maybe even spend some more time with Zeus, maybe. But as far as things that needed time, I think really it was the exposition with Gore. I don't think it was really anything else that needed time
Because
to
we
roll
didn't really
out.
see much of Gore. Like, we saw him, but not that much.
Yeah, for sure. I think I saw some people have a lot of problems with how much screen time he had. I really didn't, because I know what Marvel's doing with their villains. It just doesn't match up down the road. If this was like, DC gives you, like I was telling you, like, if you can't kill like if you're gonna do a signified Batman movie, there to God is no way that you can kill off. Nowadays, you can't kill off a Joker in the first movie. They did in '89, but '89 was in a different era where they were gonna just go through characters that really never had been on live screen. Um, but nowadays, bro, like, if you're gonna surround, it's probably what the Batman is doing right now, is surrounding its universe with maybe a trilogy of the Joker, or having some type of player like that throughout that series or whatever they're gonna do with it. But you can't kill off really somebody like that for this movie. Thor, if you were gonna like have Thor, then Gorr the God Butcher should have been like in the first movie for me, and then roll him out through 4 movies. But you can't do that, and I don't think that any of the villains would have mattered when Thanos came. They just would have gotten away, and then you would have had to write them off some way, somehow, which to me would have been less trouble than kind of giving you the film in its entity and what it is, and then moving on knowing that it's gonna build up to something bigger down the road. I think getting caught up in a lot of the villain stuff is just kind of like none of the villains would matter to anything that they've led up to. Nothing. Like, who wants to see the Vulture when Thanos came? No one gives a shit, and it wouldn't have mattered. No one gave a fuck about, any of the Baron Zemo, anybody from Wakanda. No one would have gave a fuck when Thanos showed up. It wouldn't have mattered. It would have been a weird write-off. So I always look at the movie in a different perspective, more so from a villain. But I feel like that Marvel is getting to a point where you're getting big villains where you need to have their own films, which is dope. So you're going to get some villain films, I feel like, from Marvel here soon, especially with like Doctor Doom is somebody that he has a good enough story to roll out for some movies. That's okay. And he's definitely somebody you wouldn't kill off, because that would just, everybody would abandon ship, I'll tell you that right now, including me. I don't know who would be left watching Marvel if they killed off Doctor Doom in one movie. I really don't. That would do it. Wouldn't you agree? That would do it.
Man, well, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. If Marvel Studios, if they fuck up Doctor Doom, that's it for me. Because for me, like, I'm saying, Thanos was a badass, but I mean, I'm saying? I mean, he always pretty much has been, but like, Doctor Doom is arguably the greatest villain in Marvel Comics. I'm saying? Definitely one of the most popular. It has been for like years. So if y'all fuck that up, if Marvel Studios fucks that up, then it's just sort of like, because I mean it's crazy that we've been in the MCU for like what 12 or 13 years now, almost 14 years, and we've gotten this far without getting to like our premier superheroes and our premier villains. Like when I say premier superheroes, I mean X-Men, Fantastic Four. I mean, we've already had Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is going to continue. I mean, he's the most popular, in Marvel and everything. So he's like the poster boy for Marvel. So we've already had Spider-Man, but like X-Men, Fantastic Four. I mean, so we've had Hulk too, but like X-Men, Fantastic Four. We're going to get to that stuff pretty soon, and then Kang the Conqueror, Doctor Doom, your more classic villains and all that. I feel like this is where it's all leading up to. Thanos always had popularity, but I feel like when Avengers Infinity War came out and he got to show how much of a badass he was, I think his popularity definitely grew. But I mean, they did a great job with Thanos, but like Kang the Conqueror, Doctor Doom, those are the ones that you have to get right. Those are the ones you absolutely have to get right. Just like with X-Men and Fantastic Four, y'all, they have to get those right. Because these are like the flagship characters of Marvel that we really, really care about. Like these are our premier superhero teams and villains and stuff. And, if they fuck all that up, I don't know if I'd be able to continue. So, they've been doing a good job so far, but they really got their work cut out for them. In the future, so we'll see how it goes, but I guess I'll get into my thoughts about Thor: Love and Thunder. I thought it was cool. Not my favorite Thor movie. I think out of the 4 Thor movies, I'll probably put this in 3rd place. So I'll go like Thor Ragnarok as the number 1 spot. And I'll do the first Thor movie at number 2, Thor Love and Thunder is number 3, and then Thor Dark World is number 4. But I mean, it's like a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10 for me. The reason is because, like, you know, I think in some parts it was just a tad bit too silly. Like, I like a lot of the comedy stuff that was in there, but I felt like some of the comedy kind of took away from some of the serious, you know, points of the film, especially like, you know, a couple scenes with Gore the God Butcher. And you brought up Gore earlier. Thing about Gore the God Butcher, well, I'm gonna say that Christian Bale completely like killed that role. Like he did such a great job bringing Gore God Butcher to the screen. But like Chad just mentioned, with the length of these films, whenever the runtime is put out, I'm always like, well, you know, they're going to do the Jane Foster storyline, and you know, I wonder how they're going to give enough time to Jane Foster, and then also have a villain like Gore the God Butcher in there, who has, you know what I'm saying, who's a pretty layered villain. You know, he has this motivation for wanting to kill the gods. You know what I'm saying? He's got a really compelling story, but how are you going to fit all that into a movie that clocks in at like an hour and 52 minutes? And that's one of my issues with Marvel sometimes, is like, you know, the characters that we want to see like fleshed out, sometimes they're not really given their just due because they're so focused in trying to cram everything in under 2 hours. And, you know, depending on how they write the script and all that, I mean, you also have to consider that, because that was the same thing for Multiverse of Madness. You know, we were kind of wondering, like, when we saw the official runtime, like 2 hours and 6 minutes, we were like, well, you know, as soon as that shit starts, you know, it's gonna have to go from the jump, which it did. Not really a whole lot of exposition or whatever, you know, not really a whole lot of setup. They just went right into it. But we haven't seen, but in the case of Thor Love and Thunder, we hadn't seen Jane Foster in like 8 years or whatever. You know, they did the whole cancer storyline thing. Then her turning into Mighty Thor, and then also having to fight Gore the God Butcher alongside Thor. I thought the way that they did her storyline was really good. I really enjoyed Jane Foster in this one, and I think that her and Thor had the best chemistry in this film than they had in the first two movies. So I really enjoyed her stuff, but like when it came to the case of Gore the God Butcher, like Christian Bale fucking killed it. But I wish I could have seen more of his character fleshed out on screen. And then I also would have liked it if they would have gone into the history about the Necro Sword a little bit more, or maybe they'll introduce, you know, Null the symbiote god somewhere later down the line, which I feel like they will. But I thought the movie was kind of going to go into a little bit of the history of the Necro Sword, but
they don't have the. But we found out after we watched Thor, they don't have the rights.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
And so I was like, damn, that's why they like ducking it.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I know many of people that talked about Null before. I think maybe I even brought it up. I think maybe you did. I know you have too. But Null is a big part of, like, when Eddie and Venom was laid in bed having that conversation about billions of years of symbiotes, it came from Null. And Null is like you see how strong Venom is and shit, but like imagine that times infinity. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, you know, a lot of our favorite villains, like if they went up against Null, the symbiote god, they would stand no chance. Like he is before the universe. You know what I'm saying? Like he goes way back.
It's crazy.
And so it's like the thing that Phase 4 is doing right now is they're setting up all these storylines dealing with all these different gods and these different entities and stuff, and I really like where they're going with it. But as far as the Necro Sword is concerned, I mean, I've seen things online where they were talking about, you know, Sony, you know, might still have the rights to Null because, you know, Spider-Man and symbiotes and all that stuff, and I don't know all the details of that. If somebody does, like, drop that in the comments or whatever. But as far as the Necro Sword, I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more history on that. If they couldn't use Null, maybe they could have made up something because the sword just kind of appeared, and then, you know, it had like this voice that went along with it saying, kill all gods, but that's really just about the extent, what I'm saying, that we got with the Necro Sword. And Zeus knew about the Necro Sword. Like a lot of people, like a lot of these gods and these entities know about the Necro Sword. So it's just like, so what is the reputation of the Necro Sword out there? I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
They kept it vague.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe left it open so that way, if they did acquire it down the road, or I think that would be very beneficial for that.
Yeah.
I feel like Marvel understands that though. They'll eventually figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that they can't do because there's a lot of shit,
Copyright.
Yeah, it gets messy. It's the reason why we haven't had another Hulk solo film, but hopefully that changes pretty soon. But one of the things, aside from Jane Foster, is I really liked her storyline. Valkyrie was great. Wish I would have got more screen time with her. Korg is there to do the wisecracks and make the jokes and be a lot of the comedic, get a lot of comedic tones and stuff like that. So, I mean, Chris Hemsworth's Thor was good as always. They definitely cranked up the comedy for him. What I'm saying, which is okay. I definitely love the goats. Mm. The goats are the GOAT. I heard some people say, they screamed and hollered about 29, 30 times in the movie, and by the 25th time, I was just so over it. It really didn't hit me like that. I thought they were a great addition to that movie. But but overall, what I'm saying, the movie was cool. Like I said, it's an enjoyable movie. Would I watch it again? Yeah, but I don't think the rewatchability would be as frequent for me as something like, Spider-Man No Way Home or, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, because those movies had a lot of elements that I liked and that I want to see over and over and over again. Like I said, Gore the God Butcher was great, but I just felt like his story needed to be fleshed out more, and I just feel like, they tried to squeeze it into the short runtime. Maybe an extra 15 or 20 minutes, or like a couple more scenes with Gore that would have done it for me. But but overall I liked it. I did. And also, and I just put this on Facebook too, where they did like the meeting of the gods thing, that scene. Oh yeah, let me shout out Russell Crowe too. Russell Crowe as Zeus, I thought he did a great fucking job. I know some people didn't like, he did the whole thing with his skirt and walked down the stairs like, oh, it's too silly, it's too funny. I was like, man, whatever. But whoever's in the costume department at Marvel Studios, the design for Bast, the Black Panther goddess, I thought she looked fucking amazing. I thought she looked incredible. And hopefully we get to see her in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I hope that she comes back. Because I really, really liked her design and how she looked. But that whole meeting of the gods, so there were one thing I noticed was a lot of the variation in looks and costumes and different things like that. So that's something that I want to see more of down the line. But whoever's in the costume department at Marvel Studios, y'all really hitting it out the park with these looks and designs for these characters and stuff. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on Thor though.
I liked it too. Like I said before, it's like a 7 or 8 for me. The only issue I had was like the Gore the God Butcher thing, how we didn't really see him a lot, and he was like the whole hype for the movie, and I enjoyed Lady Thunder, I like to call her that, but she killed it, and I like her storyline, how they rolled her out too, brought her back, and pretty much what you guys said, but
yeah. And there was another thing about Gore that I wanted to mention too. I think one of the other things that kind of disappointed me about Gore was that, like in the comics, and because the thing about it is Gore's like a relatively new villain. Like he first appeared in the comics in like 2013, so he's still new. As far as like the treatment that he got in this movie, I didn't expect it to be like a Kang the Conqueror or Doctor Doom level type of thing. But I mean, Gore is a badass in the comics. I mean, this is the same guy who almost killed Thor twice. And there was another instance where he fought 3 different Thors at once and beat the hell out of them all. So, I mean, so Gore is an absolute badass, and he's fucking nasty in the comics. In this movie, though, I really didn't feel that. Like, whenever Thor and Gore fought, there was no instance where I was just like, damn, man, Thor's about to eat it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he's really about to get it. I never really felt any sort of danger for Thor like that when him and Gore were fighting. Now, their fighting sequences and all that, I really enjoyed it, but I never was like, damn, man, Thor, you know what I'm saying, Thor's about to get it. This ain't looking too good. So I would have liked to see more of, like, you know, the badassery of Gore the God Butcher in the movie, but yeah. Oh yeah. And the fight scene on that planet in the Shadow Realm, that whole sequence right there is probably some of the best visual effects that Marvel has ever given.
Crazy.
That shit was fucking crack. That shit was great.
That was genius.
Yeah.
That was genius. The only thing I didn't like was some of the just beginning shots. When it first turned black and white, the way that the camera looked at them, it just maybe was the wrong angle or maybe the wrong shot or something. It just didn't hit right with the black and white. But once the battle started,
yeah,
then I started seeing, okay, this is where it's gonna really like pick up, and this is the money. And that's why I was saying, like, it's that moment, and then seeing a comic book version of Eternity, that made me gasp, because I was like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen it live action. I've seen it in the comic book and like in cartoons, but like to see it be really just like a cutout of a person, but they did it where you could see it had like some depth, like you could still see it was like an arm and stuff like that. And I was just like, wow. Like,
just like how it is in the comics. I mean,
we're really getting there.
In the comics, whenever Eternity is depicted, I mean, it's like in the silhouette of a person. Mm-hmm. They got the horns and shit, but the silhouette is made up of, you know, like space and just the look of space and universe. So as far as like the design of Eternity in the movie, I thought they nailed that, but it wasn't like I mean, it is an entity, but not in the same way as Eternity is usually depicted, I guess. And that's what they do with these movies sometimes. But
they're changing some of how the Celestials and some of how these different, you know, like, it's like when I saw Eternity, I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen. But it like that kind of blew me away, was the fact that like they kind of told a different story where it was like, instead of this person being feared, this person is more so like a love, or once out of the constant eternity loop that this being or entity is in. So through bringing back Gore's daughter, she's like, she left with Gore's daughter, or that's Gore's avatar. Gore's daughter's her Eternity's avatar.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy how they made it like that, how they wrote it like that. I thought that's a really good, I think that was really good writing. I think there's really, really high elements of high Marvel cinema in that movie. And I think that they're really good to the point where I didn't care about really what, in a sense, would be bad. The one thing that really like blew me away, which everybody picked up on after, was the fact that they leaked Jane Foster's transformation 9 months ago, but we didn't see it. Her transformation was supposed to be like when Thor became worthy again in the first movie, where he lifts up into the sky and all the things come back on his armor and all that. Her transformation was supposed to be like that at Asgard, where I guess the hammer broke out and came back together, and when it does, it lifted her up, and then she was supposed to go through that whole, you know, lightning transformation. But I still like the way that they put her in, like her way she came in was fire. You know, like him hearing Mjolnir, and then it showing up, and I was like, oh, he can get it back. And then it ran away from him, and then it broke into pieces. And I was like, hold on, why couldn't Thor couldn't do that? I was pissed because I was like, damn, in Ragnarok, he could have used Mjolnir in Ragnarok. If he would have had Mjolnir in Ragnarok, that would have been a different ballgame.
They said that her powers were going to be.
Man,
Yeah, no, but they said early on that her powers were gonna be a little different from Thor. I mean, she's a Thor too, but like her powers were gonna be a bit more, you know what I'm saying? They were just gonna be different. So I thought her hammer tricks, like where she throws it and then like breaks into like a billion pieces and then it comes back. I thought that was really dope. Um, but like as far as a transformation, you know what I'm saying. Like I said, I like what they did. Like what you described or whatever, that would have been cool to see too. Um, but the one thing I did like that they included was because I was just wondering, like, so how did she become worthy all of a sudden to wield that? Is it just because she was like Thor's girlfriend or something? Her association with him, or you know what I'm saying, what was that? And I remember that scene where it was the flashback scene showing like what led up to the breakup between Thor and Jane. And he was talking to Mjolnir. He's like, promise that you'll always, take care of her, and that's exactly what the hammer did. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's like, I mean,
it was like his dad. It was like when his dad did it. Like whoever can wield it is worthy, or whatever. Whoever's worthy can wield it. Yeah. It was like the same kind of enchantment on the hammer.
Yeah. So I mean, so Thor pretty much set up Jane in that way. It was always destined to be that, even though the hammer really didn't have a great effect on Jane's body because of the cancer, it actually made her condition worse. But the fact that Mjolnir was always there at Jane's side to be like, hey, so you know what I'm saying, so are you ready to guard? Are you ready to do this? Because Thor's in trouble right now. You know what I'm saying? We need to go. You know what I'm saying? We need to go do this. Mm-hmm. So I like how they set that up. Some people might consider that to be lazy writing or whatever. I know lazy writing is one of the complaints that Phase 4 is having right now. But I mean, for me, when it comes to Marvel, when it comes to superhero movies, I mean, this shit is not like Godfather and Once Upon a Time in America. This isn't like Francis Ford Coppola type shit. This isn't,
They did Miss Marvel very well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They have their high points with the writing and stuff, but it's just like, people are expecting like Oscar-worthy type shit. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. Like what they include in these movies and how things are set up, I mean, it makes sense, but it's like, are y'all want some like real Shakespearean type shit with these movies and stuff? Like, but anyway, like I'll get to all that later when we get to the Phase 4 shit. But I mean, it as long as it makes sense to me, I'm okay. I'm cool with that. So,
okay, so we're done. We got done through Thor Love and Thunder. Let us know how you all feel down in the comments about Thor Love and Thunder. Did you like it, spoil it, whatever you want to do? Okay. So now we're going to talk about the Miss Marvel finale, all right? So I had a brick. That knocked me on my ass. But at the same time, bro, I was having that conversation with you maybe 2 weeks ago before that, where I was saying that Phase 4 is not as bad as people are saying. It's just that people want them to go ahead and say it and unveil it. They're tired of, okay, like they pump faked us a million times. A million, and they're tired of it. And it wasn't so much of the shows are bad, it's a fog storm. And a lot of the general pub don't know where the fuck this shit's going. Mixed with the fanboys mad that it ain't DC exposition. And you got the people in the middle who like it. It's like Miss Marvel, when she said that she was a mutant, bruh, I like had a disconnect in my life for a second. Like I was like, wait a minute. And everything before that flashed before my eyes. I was like, wait a minute. So that means like maybe Shang-Chi is a mutant. Maybe, well, that confirmed Wanda was. That told us maybe Monica really is. Because we had all these shows that they had put right in our faces where motherfuckers was complaining, bitching, upset, crying, Phase 4.
Like those mutants the whole time.
They were Phase 4, all that shit. It was crying, and Marvel was able, like, they forgot about the reason why that's on my wall. They forgot about that. That's that. This the same motherfuckers who delivered that movie the way they delivered it, and people be getting their wits out of sorts when shit be rolling out, bruh. But within seconds, bruh, they so good that they can do something like that. That like, I was watching a podcast. Dude said that might have been the biggest post-credit scene or post-credit thing we've ever had since Nick Fury came in and told Iron Man he was looking for Avengers.
Bruh, I would probably say ever, because when it comes to what we see, when it comes to what we want to see in Marvel, who are the people we want to see in Marvel the most?
The X-Men.
Spider-Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four, X-Men. Any drop having to do with those people, those are going to be the biggest moments. And people have been wondering for a long time, when are we going to see mutants? When are we going to see mutants? When are we going to see mutants? When are we going to see this? When are we going to see that? When are we going to see that? But here's the thing though. A lot of the frustration like I said, I'll get to all that because we ain't going to the Phase 4 shit right now. But I'm just gonna stick with Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel, I like the show. Well, actually, I love the show as a whole. It's probably my second favorite Marvel show, period. WandaVision and Loki are still kind of interchangeable for me for that number one spot. But for right now, I would say WandaVision, Miss Marvel, then Loki, but then I don't know. All three of those shows are really good to me. But the season finale, I thought it's not my favorite episode of the series because I thought the first two episodes of Miss Marvel were really, really good. But I mean, the stuff in the high school, I mean, I thought it was cool. The stuff with damage control, you know what I'm saying, that gave her like a little setup for, like I said, they're not like big overpowered super villains and shit like that. They're just basic threats or whatever. But her still being a kid and her still learning about her powers and stuff, I thought that the threat level of that was equal to where she's at. Mm-hmm. But I liked all the stuff between her and Kamran and her trying to convince Kamran to, to just like leave all this bullshit behind and go where you need to go. And, so I really like that. I like how her parents were finally able to see or finally able to accept that it was always her destiny to become this. Mm-hmm. And with the mother, I think throughout the series, she was trying to keep Kamala from learning this bit of information. And of course, and I understand because that's her only daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wants her daughter to have a normal life. And I always said that the mom knew more than what she was letting on. Mm-hmm. But her being a mother, I understand it was for a good reason. But I think in the back of her mind, she always knew, just because, because with the influence of her mother, and then
yeah, because when they found out that she was the one that saved her nanny, like, yeah, everybody's perspective changed.
Yeah, so it was just like Kamala was always destined to be this, and her mom was basically trying to stop that from happening. But when she found out that Kamala had come into contact with that destiny, or what she was always destined to walk into, I think her mom just accepted it. Like, you know what I'm saying, this is what she's supposed to do. Like you are a magical being. But I like seeing that the journey of their relationship throughout this whole series, and because that was one of the things I was wondering, in the first couple of episodes, like how are her parents going to accept her being this superhero and facing all these threats? Like, is that going to be a conflict later on down the line? But like I said, with the mom, she always knew more than what she was letting on, and I think by the end she just accepted it. But I like how, especially when it came to Kamala using her powers, like in the third act of the season finale. I like a lot of her, transformative things with her body that she was doing, like when it came to her powers and stuff, like how she how her powers made her grow and made her change the size of her hands and stuff like that, and just basically turned her into like this big like stone, what I'm saying, like this crystal / stone figure or whatever. So we got to see some variations with her powers and stuff, but yeah, like I said, I thought the season finale was I thought it was good. Like I said, not my favorite episode of the series, but I thought this episode stuck the landing better than previous Marvel season finales. I felt more satisfied with this season finale than I did with like some of the other ones.
That's what I told him. It didn't even really feel like a finale. Like,
yeah,
it was like, okay.
Yeah, but it didn't. But see, it also didn't feel. It didn't feel rushed because sometimes the last show of like the last episode of these shows feels kind of rushed. So when I got to the end of this, I was like, it was pretty evenly paced. Like I know the formula that they do on Disney Plus now. Like usually the 5th episode goes into like some like backstory or how things became what they are with this certain character, and then the 6th episode, like by the end of episode 5, like they realize they understand in the 6th episode. That's when they go in. That's when they finally accept who they are as heroes and stuff, and we get to see like most of the badass shit that we see like in the trailers and stuff. You know what I'm saying, and then some. So I mean, overall, I really enjoyed this show. It's crazy because with this being a show that not a lot of people were looking forward to, it's funny that this is officially the highest rated Marvel property.
Yeah, I did it.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy because they did the biggest drop in Marvel Studios history in a Disney Plus show about a newer character like Miss Marvel with the whole mutant shit. And the fact that this show is the highest rated Marvel property ever. So it's just like where people were not really like huge fans of Thor Love and Thunder, where it's so divisive or whatever, it's kind of good to see that they're still churning out quality like, like Miss Marvel. It keeps people interested. But yeah, that post-credit scene, with the mutant drop and everything, that was crazy. I'm glad that we got to see Carol Danvers make an appearance.
Yeah, she looked good too.
Yeah, like when Kamala's bracelet lit up, and she basically, I think she switched places with Carol Danvers, and I really like seeing that because, and I said this to somebody the other day, when the Marvels comes out next year, I was like, I want to see Kamala's family again, because Kamala's family, like I really liked her mom, I really liked her dad, I liked her, like I said, I liked all the people that she had in her life, her family, friends, everybody in that show knocked it out the park, and that was one of the elements about the Miss Marvel show that I liked a lot, and I want to see that continue in the Marvels, and it looks like we're going to get that, because Carol Danvers, shows up in Kamala's room, and she's looking at all these Captain Marvel posters and stuff, and she's wondering like, oh, what I'm saying, like, where am I? What, what's happening? So probably when at the start of the Marvels or whatever, Carol Danvers is going to meet Kamala's family, trying to figure out, where Kamala is, what I'm saying, what happened and all that. So that's a good sign, because I do want to see Kamala's family pop up, in the future, what I'm saying? So because I really enjoyed their dynamic in the show. So
we got mutants.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I took a nap. Went to bed that night thinking about that shit, because I was just blown away about how good that was. Like, I experienced it, and I love the fact that I was there to experience it. And I was telling people, I don't think the Inhumans is done still. I think that with Secret Invasion on the table, there's no way that you can really count out Inhumans right now. And I've heard rumors a long time ago about Inhumans, but they killed off Black Bolt and Doctor Strange, so I was like, I didn't really think that. I thought that was just going to be like maybe the only showcase, but you might see some type of Inhumans in the Secret Invasion thing that Marvel's got going on. So I'm really, I hope that Marvel. I mean, I feel like people were saying that it's going to be hard to differentiate between mutants and Inhumans. I'm like, well, comic book guys, nah, but like for the normal person, yeah. But I also think that they're too good of a piece to the Secret Invasion story to not include somewhere down the road or somewhere in there. If you're gonna go gods with Thor, then if you're gonna go cosmic, bruh, Inhumans is like you can have X-Men or mutants on Earth, but you can do Inhumans cosmically, and the Phase 5 is supposed to be cosmic size. So I would love to see like what if our universe had a version of Black Bolt.
But see, when people talk about, and we'll get to this a little bit later, but since we're on the subject, since we are going towards the Secret Invasion stuff and, Secret Wars and everything, like this is supposed to be a huge event. And the Russo brothers just commented on it saying that, the Secret Wars event could dwarf Avengers Infinity War and Endgame because the scale is different now. I mean, yeah, what happened in Infinity War and Endgame, was crazy, but like we're dealing with like a multiversal time travel type of story here. So with all of these different parts that they're introducing, with all this material that they've introduced so far in Phase 4, all of that is going to mean something later on down the line. With the influx of all these new characters, you're going to need all these characters for a big event like that. If that's what they're shooting for, and I understand coming off of Endgame and that having the type of impact that it did, I understand why people want to get back to that event real quick, but it doesn't do the story any type of justice. Just as long as it took us to get to Avengers Endgame, to get to the next event, it's going to have to take some time. So as a Marvel fan, I totally understand, I get it, but the story has to be right. It just has to be right. So I'm just enjoying the ride right now. I'm enjoying like most of the material that they're giving us. But yeah, that's my thing on it. But
all right. So we got through Miss Marvels. We have mutants in Phase 4. And a lot of the Phase 4 haters has been quiet. That VFX shit stopped. Phase 4 is drowned and stopped. All that shit stopped as soon as that motherfucker said, I think you got a mutation. All that shit, I ain't seen none of it on social media. The only shit that I've been seeing is what we're about to talk about next. Which we're talking about now is the Black Panther Wakanda Forever, okay? I have watched probably 6 to 10 videos trying to understand why in the hell that everybody is so damn mad. Like Chadwick Boseman, rest his soul, didn't die because this plot leak that came out. The plot leak said that Lake Bell is in the water looking for vibranium, and Namor finds him and kills her crew, and then tries to form an alliance with Wakanda, and then says no, and then T'Challa dies of sickness, and then Shuri becomes the Black Panther through a artificial technology or technological what's it called? The flower. Supposedly, she's supposed to become the new Black Panther, and M'Baku is supposed to be the king of Wakanda. Shuri is supposed to fight Namor, but don't kill him, which Namor is probably going to be a mutant. And T'Challa is supposed to have a son. And there's a post-credit scene that was shot that was supposed to have Dr. Doom in it. I I don't have a problem with that plot leak, but I doubt it's real. But I don't have a problem with it because I think what would happen would be what I told her was with the Terrence Howard Don Cheadle situation. How one movie is Terrence Howard whooped that trick who's supposed to be Rhodey, and then the next movie it's fucking Don Cheadle. It's the exact opposite. It's like, what the fuck? People were comparing it to Hulk, and I was like, bruh, no. I think maybe that rollout might be okay too, though. But I don't think it's gonna get off like that. It wouldn't come off like that because you wouldn't be jumping from one movie to another solo movie. You're supposed to be like, if you're gonna recast T'Challa, the way to do it is not through movies. Is to like have an event where he shows up and this is how you unveil him or something like that. Kind of like how they did Spider-Man. They didn't go down the whole fucking origin story, but they added him in Civil War. They could do that and recast it. But there's no in between here where we're at to do so. So I don't know about necessarily, I don't think that he died from sickness. I don't believe that. And if he did, I don't necessarily care. But I feel like they're going to find a way to make that work a little bit better. Because that might have been like a test screening. But his brother wanted him to be recasted because one reason is because it's going to give off that effect, bro. Like, it's going to be weird. And I said for a lot of reasons that people don't really understand too, is PR. It's PR. We have a lot of talks about whoever becomes the next Professor X, whoever becomes the next Wolverine, whoever becomes that next guy, they're going to kill him regardless who it is. You're not Patrick Stewart. You're not, Hugh Jackman. They're going to kill him. Just like they did Pattinson. Before they saw Pattinson do that movie, bro, they lynched him all over the internet. Oh, I don't want Twilight to be my Batman. I don't want... They had all the memes up and everything. They had all that shit up. What they don't want to do is they don't want to recast T'Challa and then have a PR run and everybody ask him about Chadwick Boseman. But what they want to do is pay homage to him in the movie, probably by killing him off, having the same cast with the exception of the Kahlua kid because of Nope, and ask them the same questions they've been asked for the last 5 years. Could you imagine having the guy that everybody wants to be the new T'Challa on a PR run for Black Panther 2, and every question he's going to get? How do you feel about being what Chad Boseman did? How do you feel about being with Chad Boseman? What do you think about Chad Boseman? They're going to act. No question is going to be about the actor that played the new T'Challa. The whole PR run. So why put him through that? And then when they said he's going to have a kid, I said, okay, cool. So they're not killing this guy off. They're going to give you one. Because he can be whatever, I think it's Zuri, T'Challa, whatever it is. In the comic, there's two of them. There's one that's Zuri and one is Zara, something like that. But it's T'Challa. I said, okay, cool. Your third movie can be that. And give you like a 2 hour and a half from a kid all the way up to being the king of Wakanda, Black Panther, or whatever it needed to be. You know what I'm saying? But to hop from one movie in a timeline that's all supposed to matter in one, to just stop everything and forget all the directors talking with each other and all that shit, to just recast the motherfucker, to get him in PR and ask him everything about Chadwick Boseman and not him. Like imagine right now, they're about to do Comic-Con. Imagine if they had unveiled this cat. And then after he gets unveiled, they're not going to ask one fucking question about him. They're going to ask every single question about how do you think Chadwick Boseman would feel? How do you think that Chadwick Boseman would like you? What did Chadwick Boseman's brother say? How did the other cast feel about you being there instead of Chadwick Boseman? Do you want to honor Chadwick Boseman? Do you want to, I think I could be like Chadwick Boseman. It's an internet, it's a mess. That's an internet mess. That's a total internet mess. But I think recasting him so soon is not it. I think you should. But I like the story that they're going with, because I think that if the plot leak is real, then what they said is real by paying homage to T'Challa. Probably gonna, if he dies from sickness, probably gonna be having, you know, some sort of funeral, trying to and then shows things with Shuri, you know, trying to understand and become what her brother would be. Same thing with M'Baku. They didn't always have good, you know, stuff on the table. There was a point in time where they was fighting, and he wanted to be King of Wakanda, and his clan or his tribe wanted to be this, and they didn't always get along. But I feel like the characters that they had, they're gonna like flashback and have these moments and remember T'Challa in the way that they should be, and then at the end to send you through that emotional roller coaster. They're not gonna say this is the end, bro. He had a son. And my thing is bro, like, it's not about black or white, bro. I think it's about storytelling. We have other black characters. Like, they're talking about recasting. I'm like, bro, we have a Sam Wilson. I don't see y'all riding this hard for another. Like, if it's about being black, bro, then you talking about having a woman Black Panther. You're also talking about, you have Sam Wilson. It's the black Captain America right now in MCU.
But I'm confused. Who said anything about it being a black or white thing?
No, that's what they said. They said they compared it to, well, if they could recast Ruffalo with the Hulk, then why come they can't do it with T'Challa? And I said, bro, it's not that easy. And I really don't think that people just want to hit the gas into the next. I told you even when it happened, I don't recommend them recasting this for the second movie. I said you're gonna have to recast, but I don't think you should just zoom into it.
No, because
I don't think that's okay.
This is my whole thing with the whole recasting thing. Now shortly after Chadwick died, I mean, the next question was, and I mean, it's not out of disrespect, but we were all asking, okay, so what is going to happen with Black Panther 2 now? So now what's going to happen, because, you know, this is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy who made T'Challa, Black Panther, iconic as it is, he's gone. Rest in peace, rest in power, you know? But they have a problem. So at first I was just like, okay, Hollywood has done the recasting thing before. You know what I'm saying? It's not outside of the realm of possibility. They could recast. The reason why I said that at the time is because, I mean, given the shock of Chadwick's death, I mean, it was sort of like a quick fix situation. I'm like, okay, well, you know, just recast them. But then over time, my viewpoint began to change. And then also with the different characters that they said they wanted to include in Black Panther 2, I was like, well, here's the thing. Yeah, Shuri could become the new Black Panther, but she's not T'Challa. And second thing is, she's not Chadwick Boseman. And third thing is, we've always enjoyed her as a side character. Will she be able to follow that up and lead the film in that way?
That's the reason. That question that you just asked is what they wrote in the way to homage Chadwick. How does she get there? How does that hurt her? How does she? That's what's gonna make that shit relatable. That's why.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Though it all depends on how they write it, but it's going to be a bit of a challenge.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, considering the circumstances, it's a hard thing anyway. Thing about it is that you know what I'm saying. Chadwick died. There's nothing you can do about that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a tragic thing, but like, you know, it's nothing you can do about that. So really, so we've just been asking all these questions. How is this going to work? And now, you know, with the introduction of the multiverse and everything, you know, the whole discussion around a multiversal T'Challa. You know what I'm saying? They could kill. You know, they killed off our T'Challa in Black Panther 2. What if they brought in a multiversal one in Black Panther 3? Maybe by the time Black Panther 3 comes out, you know, Chadwick Boseman's death won't be as fresh as it is now. But early on, I was like, go ahead and recast T'Challa for Black Panther 2. But that was before I even knew that they were trying to put out Black Panther 2 as soon as they are. It was always meant to come out in 2022, but I figured because Chadwick had passed away, that would delay the production of Black Panther 2. But now the movie's already shot and done. They want to go on ahead and get this thing out. So I'm just like, okay, so with the amount of time that y'all got, with Ryan Coogler and the team or whatever, like, y'all are really going to have to come up with a story that's going to satisfy people. Now, like I said, granted, Chadwick Boseman died. That's a hard thing to deal with anyway. It's a major loss. And there's always that possibility of Black Panther 2 just not being as good because your central star is not there. So there's already going to be a challenge anyway. But the thing that we could ask for, the best thing we could ask for is for a damn good film. If it turns out to be a great film, regardless of who's in it or whatever, you know what I'm saying, I'm satisfied with that. But like when you say that you're going to introduce, when you're going to put Namor in this film, we want to see T'Challa fight Namor. Then you're also going to add Atuma into the movie. Atuma is an enemy of Namor. I think in the comics at one certain point, T'Challa and Namor team up to fight Atuma. So it's like you're putting in these classic iconic villains who have had run-ins with T'Challa in the comics, but there's no T'Challa there. So that was one of the problems that's one of the questions that I've been asking. How do you have these, how do you do these storylines without your main character there? Is it going to hit the same way? But once again, it's just a challenge. And granted, we haven't had a first trailer for Wakanda Forever yet. We don't know what's going to happen, how they're going to write it out. I avoid plot leaks because to me, they really don't matter. Because when I actually see the film, I'm actually seeing it for what it is. I know plot leaks, I know like speculation and seeing who's going to be in this and how this is going to go and all that. You're not going to know how it's going to go until you see the actual movie. That's the reason why I avoid that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, whatever. But it's just like, ever since Chadwick died, it was going to be a challenge. It was just going to be a challenge anyway. So I mean, it's tough, and I can only imagine what Ryan Coogler has had to deal with over like the last year and a half trying to put this thing together. But if they make a great film out of it, you know what I'm saying, I'm here for it. But like I said, I'm gonna keep a little bit of skepticism. You know what I'm saying, until the first trailer comes out.
I don't think that somebody said in the comments that they think that Shuri they could pull it off. But my issue is just like what you said. If you're gonna put these villains in here or do these storylines, where's T'Challa at? Because Shuri being Black Panther is a storyline. That's okay. But this isn't the storyline with Namor.
And I'm not down to Shuri at all. I like Shuri a lot as a character. I want to see her become Black Panther eventually. But just with all the stuff that they're trying to include in this sequel, like to me, T'Challa has to be there. But he's not. So how y'all gonna work around that?
Right.
But no, that's my only question.
I don't think that she'll pull it off. I don't necessarily think that the plot leak is 100% real, but I think some things in there are real. Shuri becoming the Black Panther, I think that was kind of obvious, but I think it'll be more so of a placeholder. I've told her that Riri Williams is gonna steal the show, and I don't think that anybody knows that yet because as soon as I seen the you love exposition. I'm somebody who feeds off of fucking special effects and shit like that. So when I saw what her shit's gonna look like, bruh, I was like, bro, people are going to, I don't know. I know y'all love T'Challa and shit, bro. But this new Riri Williams character, the Ironheart character, that's going to show you her armor and how much doper and how much doper of a character and more relatable of a character that she's going to be, especially for black folks and us. Like, she's going to turn into
this movie has, here's the thing, even Chadwick Boseman not being here, aside from that, you still have a dope ass cast in this movie. Because the one other person that I'm also excited about is an actress named actress named her name is Michaela Cole, and she has a couple shows on HBO Max or something like that. But I mean, from what I've heard, I've never watched any of her stuff. But from what I've heard, she's a great actress, and she was rumored to play this character called Madam Slay in the Black Panther comics, who ends up having a relationship with Killmonger. But Michaela Cole has like these really, really striking features, and she looked like she could be a part of the Dora Milaje. But she has like really striking features. And the thing that I noticed about like when they were adding people to the cast of Black Panther 2, I'm like, so, you know, not in the sense that they are trying to make up for Chadwick not being there, but it's like they're still giving you these all-stars in these movies, because you still have Lupita Nyong'o coming back. You still have Angela Bassett in here. You know, you still have Winston Duke in here. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't get Daniel Kaluuya. But I mean, you know, it's you still have. That's why I say I think the film is going to be good regardless, because of what you have right here in front of you. And with Riri Williams, I'm really excited because she is like just like how Sam Wilson is to Steve Rogers, Riri Williams will be that to Tony Stark. Not saying that she can take his place, but she is the person to continue that. You know what I'm saying? That whole Iron Man, you know, Ironheart, you know what I'm saying? Iron Man, Ironheart. She's supposed to continue that. You know what I'm saying? She's supposed to be a whiz kid and all that. So seeing some of the costume designs, I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? She's definitely going to be dope. But like I said, I don't know what we're going to get just yet. The first trailer could come around. It could blow us away.
We'll have it by next week.
Yeah,
Comic-Con, they're gonna release it.
Yeah, but I am going to temper my expectations for now, because like I said, ever since Chadwick died, I mean, like I said, that's a tough thing. But just make a great film. I don't want to get too caught up into who's there and who's not. Give us a moving story. If you can make a worthy ass sequel and just give us a great continuation of this, you know what I'm saying? Just you know what I'm saying? Give me that. But we'll see.
That'd be crazy. I don't know what would you like? How would you feel if we got to the movie theater to see Black Panther and they recast it? See what I'm saying? That feels weird on a plate more than like just waiting a little bit and recasting them through storytelling or something.
It just depends on how they do it, cause I always like the idea of the multiversal T'Challa, like you know,
something like that.
Right, like you know what I'm saying, write it within context of the multiverse. And also I think because there has been a delay in production, and then because Chadwick died and COVID and all this stuff, I think they had to go back and actually rewrite some things as a result of Chadwick passing away. Mm-hmm. Like why the multiverse is a bit... They had always planned to do the multiverse thing for Phase 4, but I think it's even more apparent now that, you know, maybe his death had to do with some of, like, how they might have had to go back and just, like, rewrite some things. Because, see, now with the multiverse, anything is possible, and I think that's a better pill to swallow, to have another T'Challa from another universe come in, instead of just saying, okay, boom, we're going to we recasted T'Challa, here's your new T'Challa right here. No, through circumstance, this T'Challa from another universe came here, you know what I'm saying, to face off against Namor or Tuma, or, you know what I'm saying, or whoever, you know what I'm saying, like, however they decide to write it, you know what I mean, that's what it all depends on, you know, so. But I mean, my excitement has waned a little bit for Black Panther 2. I'm still interested, but not as much as I once was. But the first trailer could come next week, and it could knock me on my ass for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, who knows what's going to happen? But that's what we love about the element of surprise, right? Something comes out of left field, just hits you. My ass will probably cry when the trailer drops or whatever, because I mean, there's a lot of emotion behind this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? We lost a good one. You know what I'm saying? Chadwick Boseman was a great actor, even beyond the Black Panther shit. This dude played Jackie Robinson. This dude played T'Challa. It was a great loss for movies and cinema. But even more important, it was a great loss to the world because I mean he was a really good guy from what people say and what I've seen. So, yeah.
I agree. So, you have any thoughts on Black Panther?
Not really.
No.
She's gonna be there to see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's gonna
I'll
be
be there to see it, but I don't really have any.
That's gonna be a really controversial movie.
I don't have anything to preface
It'll probably get.
with
I
like.
mean, it should always get leaked, but well, not really, because Thor didn't really get leaked. I didn't see any leaks for Thor really. I didn't really see any leaks for Thor. But Multiverse of Madness the week before, I read a plot leak that was pretty right on with the money, but it was after also the fucking world premiere or whatever.
That shit just, it turned out to be something different than what I thought it was gonna be. I swear, because I say that's probably one of the biggest shocks in Marvel to this day. Just Wanda coming out left field, just being like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm coming. If y'all don't hand it over, man, I'm gonna fuck y'all up. And that's exactly what she did. I didn't expect to go ham like that, but she did. She did in the first 20 minutes of the movie too.
Okay, so we got Black Panther down. And the last we're gonna talk about is Phase 4. There's been a lot of people talking about they dislike Phase 4, they like Phase 4. Me personally, I have absolutely no complaints. Because I think that Marvel is checking a lot of boxes. I feel like a lot of people are too. Their critiques are of the wrong things for the wrong shows for the wrong reasons, and I even said a long time ago that WandaVision. I know a lot of people now that got WandaVision as their number one, but me and her, I've always said that WandaVision was number one, and it was number one because of what came with it.
Mm-hmm.
Damn good show, man.
It was
my
so
opinion
big.
is like, it sucks because like I feel like it doesn't make sense to them yet.
It's a Fox story.
And it's like it's gonna come together, and once it does, then you're gonna feel stupid for saying, "Oh, this was crap." And it's like watching like the first season or two of something, and it's like, "Oh, I can't
the
really."
pilot seasons, you know what I'm saying?
That's where you have to like kind of pay attention and not necessarily judge it, but take it for what it is, so that later down the road, seasons 3, 4, 5, etc. shit starts tying together, and then you're like, oh shit, this is from that, and that's from this, and that's what I feel like
is part of the fun, because when we were in the middle of WandaVision, we were still doing that. But see, I'm gonna go back in time real quick when it comes to Phase 4, because I have to say this.
Yeah. So
the original Phase 4 lineup that they revealed at Comic-Con back in 2019. Before we even knew we were going to have She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and Moon Knight, when they showed us those original 10 properties, started off with Black Widow, and I think it was Falcon Winter Soldier, then Eternals, then Shang-Chi, then WandaVision, Doctor Strange, then it was like Loki, What If, Hawkeye, then Thor Love and Thunder at the end. This was before we even knew Spider-Man was going to be in. This was before the Sony Marvel deal with Spider-Man, that whole drama and shit. This was before that. So, I said this from the beginning. I think Phase 4 was always going to have an issue because it was the phase that was going to be the immediate follow-up after the huge storm that was and still is Avengers Endgame. And of course I say Infinity War and Endgame, but like Endgame was the culmination of that 11, 12 year story. Phase 4 was always going to have an issue because your two cornerstone characters are no longer there. I would even say 3, but Tony Stark is no longer there. Steve Rogers is no longer there. Natasha Romanoff is no longer there. But mainly, Tony Stark and Steve Rogers are no longer there. And then, the storyline of the original 6 Avengers and all of the origin stories and sequels that played into these big events that came later. All of that was ending. And to a lot of casual movie fans, Avengers Endgame was the end. For people who are more in tune with Marvel lore and comic books, we knew it was going to continue past that. And plus, we hadn't even gotten to X-Men and Fantastic Four. But for the last 11 years, people had grown a connection with these characters. So when it came to Avengers Endgame, that was it. So you lost your cornerstone characters. Avengers Endgame was such an emotional roller coaster. It had such a huge impact on the world. Like that time period of Infinity War and Endgame, it was so huge, right? So you're always asking, how is Marvel going to be able to follow that up? You know what I'm saying? So what's going to happen next? And we've had these same conversations for the last 2 or 3 years. Phase 4 was always meant to be the setup phase. They have to give you these new characters, and depending on the climactic event that is to come as a result of this setup phase, you know, which we now know to be Secret Wars or whatever, they have to give you a multitude of different characters that are going to play a role in such a huge event like that. We know that now. But I always said, Phase 4 is supposed to be the setup phase. Does that mean that every film was going to be A+? No, because there were some films in Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3 that weren't exactly A+.
Right.
Honestly. You know what I'm saying? But like, what I always wanted was good storytelling and good films. But this was just going to be the setup phase. They had to introduce newer characters that were going to take over the mantle for this character that we no longer have. And I was okay with seeing that. Avengers Endgame, we're not ever going to get that again, because I don't think you can conjure up that type of feeling ever again. Because I remember the feeling that I felt when I went to go see Avengers Endgame and the movie ended, and me and my cousin, we walked out of the movie theater. And I remember saying to my cousin, like, damn, you know what I'm saying, I feel empty right now, because that, I mean, you know what I'm saying, because it's that story is over. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. Then Spider-Man Far From Home comes out, and that was like, you know, a much needed therapy session, because we're like, okay, we still have Spider-Man though. As long as we got Spider-Man, we cool. Period, point blank. But Far From Home was like the therapy session that we needed. But I was like, damn, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit's really over. So, you know what I'm saying? So what's gonna come next? So I'm in the same boat as everybody else. I want to see where all of it is going to, but I'm allowing them to tell all the stories that they need to tell, that Marvel Studios needs to tell, that Kevin Feige needs to tell, because just as we had to give them time in the first 3 phases, just like, you know, in Phase 1, we didn't know where, like, the Infinity Stones had been teased throughout the first 3 phases, but we didn't know where the story was going to go when there was that shift in acceleration in the post-credit scene of Age of Ultron, where Thanos is like, I'm just going to go get the Infinity Stones myself. There was a bit of a shift. We were already 7-8 years into the Infinity Saga by then, but it took some time. We didn't know where it was going to go just yet, but we were along for the ride.
Right.
So I'm just along for the ride.
I absolutely love every bit of Phase 4. I like how they're doing it. I'm so happy that Disney Plus happened, because it reminds me of the 90s when you would wait for a show to come out every Saturday or every day after school. It'd be a new episode or whatever it may be. I like that type of rollout. On top of that, a lot of people don't look at it from the perspective that you're getting a 6-hour movie of a character, that you're getting 2 hours of Doctor Strange, Thor. You know, that's another thing, because we react. So every time we get done with the show, it's bitter. It makes us feel bittersweet, because we've sat and watched this person for 6 episodes for 6 weeks, and it's stretched to a time where we're like, we have a week to suck in the episode, whether it's good or bad. And I've loved everything, even from What If. Like, I just love I feel like Marvel is giving us a channel. Like that's why I say I see it through like a '90s lens. Like this is like, you know, Snick on a Saturday night with, you know, all that Keenan Kel. You know, Clarissa Explains It All. Are You Afraid of the Dark? You know, Ren and Stimpy just in a rollout. Rugrats all in a rollout. You know, some of the best shows that they had at the time. And Marvel's giving us, you know, 4 hours of Moon Knight, 4 hours of 4 hours of Kamala Khan, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like I could take pieces and bits, like even from people. I was talking to what's his name on Facebook about Black Widow. I was like, bro, y'all really be putting y'all's foot on Black Widow neck, and I'm like, bro, Taskmaster was gonna be on the Thunderbolts, and the best scene in the whole movie was saving the Red Guardian from the jail. They talk about the flying in the sky, the CGI bad. I said, but the CGI wasn't bad in the scene when they was saving Red Guardian now in the helicopter. All that shit hit.
Here's another thing too, because when I mentioned the original Phase 4 lineup, because I thought about this, so I said, if y'all think y'all don't like Phase 4 now, if COVID never happened and things didn't get shifted around and they laid out Phase 4 the way that they gave it to us at Comic-Con back in 2019, they would have been even more upset. Because Black Widow, as much as I believe it would have been a good start to the new phase, WandaVision hit better.
Yeah.
WandaVision was a better property than Black Widow.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, it actually worked to the benefit of Phase 4 that things got shifted around, because WandaVision from week to week to week, it had us guessing what is going to happen next, and because Wanda's a fan favorite, it just had us guessing from week to week. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we didn't know what was going to happen. Black Widow was good, but it wasn't as good as WandaVision.
WandaVision was
then on top of that, Falcon and Winter Soldier was a good show.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but it was good. It got dark. I give it its props because of that risk that it took when they decapitated. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Then Eternals was supposed to come out after that, and you saw the reception that Eternals got when it came out. That's the lowest rated Marvel property, right?
And they hate on that. What kills me, bro? How do you hate on the Eternals?
No, but listen, but if they would have kept that original Phase 4 lineup, they would have been even more.
Yeah, they would have been worse, man.
Because the Phase 4 lineup that y'all have now, y'all had WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki. Then you got Black Widow.
Yeah, we got Loki and WandaVision in the first.
But then after that, you got bomb-ass Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi was fire. Shang-Chi was fire. That's probably still my favorite Phase 4 movie.
If they would have given y'all Black Widow and Eternals just right off the bat like they originally planned to, y'all would have been trashing Phase 4 even harder than what y'all are doing now.
They might have gave up. They might have gave up. Because they trash. It hurts my heart they trash Eternals.
Because Phase 4, because let's go back to my point. Phase 4 was always going to have that issue, regardless. But it was going to be even worse for y'all because Black Widow and Eternals, it is not. It doesn't even fall in like the most favorites of Phase 4 so far. Nobody really talks about Black Widow and Eternals like that for real. Yeah. So I mean, so when it comes to perspective, you kind of look back in time and be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? We really would have shitted on Phase 4 back then. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? And not saying that, you know what I'm saying, like COVID was like a I would not call COVID a godsend because, you know what I'm saying, God, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? But it's like, because things happened the way that they did, you got interesting properties given to you first that have kept you in this long. Because, like I said, if it had been the other way around, y'all probably would not have stuck around. Hell, WandaVision and Doctor Strange were going to fall right in the middle of that lineup. Yeah. And that was going to be a considerable amount of time before then.
That would have been a good-ass layup, though. That would have been well, I don't know about that. Well, no, actually, it might have been. Because you would have still had your original director with Nightmare. So you probably would have had a good-ass alley-oop. But that might have been it, though. Phase 4 would have been ass like that. For real, you would have had to wait midway through Phase 4 before you got WandaVision and then Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because it would have been the original movie. It would have been the Sam Raimi joint. Would have been the dude who was going to put Nightmare in this shit. It was going to basically be a 1000% Wanda movie.
Cause see, like WandaVision was going to be like its own little niche thing in Phase 4 if it would have gone the other way around. But when it came to Multiverse of Madness, I think a lot of that shit was kind of rewritten to like, I don't know, because Wanda was so much in the forefront, and you know what I'm saying, in Doctor Strange, I mean as a villain, but like WandaVision really set a new standard for the MCU, and a lot of properties that came after that were, you know what I'm saying, are being compared to WandaVision, because WandaVision, that just went wild all over the world. Because it was such a strange show, and it was what Marvel needed, because it needed something different. And I think that was I think WandaVision was what Phase 4 needed in terms of keeping people interested. Because after Avengers Endgame, it just seemed like the interest was like people were interested in seeing what was coming next, but they needed that stake to be put in the ground where it was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like with Black Widow, you wouldn't have gotten that. Black Widow is it's a prequel movie. Yeah. But it wasn't going to be enough to keep you around. WandaVision kept you around. You stayed interested in that shit. It was so different and so wonky and shit. But that's what Phase 4 needed. In a weird way, it came first for a reason. Bro. It kept y'all interested.
WandaVision, just
Black Widow, I'm sorry, it wouldn't have stood a chance.
WandaVision is too good, bro. I love all the other Disney Plus shows. I love Ms. Marvel.
Because as great as Avengers Endgame is, they didn't have nothing crazy like it had in WandaVision. Yeah. That was a whole new thing.
I'll never get watching that episode. I think it was maybe 8, at the end of 8, and Hayward had powered up White Vision. Bro, my mouth dropped to the floor.
Bro.
My mouth dropped to the floor. I was like, bro, what? That's what I'm saying. There's just not no shows that shit hit every, bro. And especially for like our generation, because we grew up in that time where Nick and Knight was getting that play with Wonder Years, I Love Lucy, The Monsters. It was always hitting. I know tons of kids who maybe not have watched it, but have seen it because it's on Nick at Night.
When they did the sitcom shit, I was just like, bruh, you know what I'm saying? Thank God for reruns and shows being put into syndication, because that's a lot of what I watched when I was younger. I watched a lot of the older sitcoms. Like the first two episodes of WandaVision, man, they were so I Love Lucy and you know what I'm saying, Bewitched and Dick Van Dyke Show. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and it felt just like it though. It wasn't like, they did a good job of capturing every like genre. Like, you can set those sets up and wear costumes, but to like make sure every bit of like the background music was in the right place. It felt like that. They did a good job. And then we even watched a little, you probably seen the clip they put on Disney Plus of how they found out the jingle for WandaVision, and then they played it through different styles of the
different.
Yeah, like they played the melody
theme song
in every different decade of theme, but they played it in the way that they would have done it in that. And I thought that was like how the theme was created. I thought it was all God sent. Like, oh man, this is just too good to be true. Like it was just meant to be.
I'm telling y'all, man, the Marvel deities out there, man, they really did y'all a favor in the beginning. Cause I'm telling y'all, man, y'all would have been done.
Yeah, we had X-Men then too. I remember before Ralph Boner got unveiled, we thought we had Quicksilver, and then there was rumors of like Magneto popping up. And but there was the Doctor Strange joint, because they said that in Multiverse of Madness that Doctor Strange was supposed to end the credit scene with Wanda in WandaVision. Yeah. And I was like, damn, but they didn't do it because they ended up switching. But I think that's crazy. Like, what if we would have saw? Bro, can you imagine we would have saw Doctor Strange at the end of WandaVision? talking about a cherry on top. It was already gorgeous, but then just to put and then still probably the most emotional.
Yeah.
Bruh, I mean, talking about right after Endgame, bro. Like when she put her kids to bed, bro, and all that shit went down, bro. That was some deep shit.
Hell yeah.
That was some deep shit, boy. She sold it. Her and Vision sold that shit. Like what the love that they had in like Ultron and those movies, bro. They were able to capture that shit and bring it to a TV show, and they put a microscope on it and was like, feel this shit.
Yeah.
Cause that last episode, bro, that was what was the word she said? He said I wanted to keep the lights on because I just wanted to have the last moments with you or something like that, bro. And then he started crying.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh my god, bro, bravo.
But see, but the part where she said at the end where she was like, you know, thank you for letting me be your mom.
Yes.
But see, when people were saying, like, but when people were saying, like, when it came to Multiverse of Madness, like, there was no, like, setup of Wanda's character, I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? I mean, by the end, she was already missing her kids.
Yeah.
That's why, you know what I'm saying? Then you put the Darkhold on top of that.
Like,
shit.
what? They was telling us not to watch WandaVision.
Right.
And but see, that's the thing. I love that too about what Marvel's been doing. Is they kind of play one foot in, one foot out. And that's what they did with Thor. Mm-hmm. They told you new story by tying the second and the third movie together. Yeah. So just in case people aren't cadenced to the timeline or the properties. If you like Thor, you can watch all three of his movies and still know where the hell you're at. If you want to watch both Doctor Strange movies, you can still watch both Doctor Strange movies, know where the hell you're at. Because you just have an understanding of they are playing halfway in, halfway out. Like with a lot of these new shows and new movies that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like with Spider-Man, they had, you know, it's easy with Spider-Man because you got some characters, but they brought flashback for the movie and a couple of scenes where he was a bigger character and getting on people's nerves in the other two movies and just picking on, even though that's the worst Flash we've ever had on in Livestream, because Flash is a jock. He's a fucking douche, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's not no offense to who the Flash is in our universe, but that's just not who
Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson is the guy who's usually, you know, fucking picking on.
We're talking about Barry Allen, talking about Flash Thompson. Yeah.
But I like how they do that, so that way, you know, because I noticed that as like if a movie about to come out, we'll watch, you know, Thor up until all the movies pretty much picked off where they left off. Just or even small stuff like having the little play with Matt Damon and old girl in it as Hela.
Yeah.
They did that in Ragnarok, so like, you know, it plays. Oh, I remember they did that in the last movie. It just plays off that type of ordeal. It didn't really dig into Endgame, so that way you can still know where Thor left off, kinda. Right. You know, last time we did see him, he was in a spaceship, but everybody's seen Infinity War Endgame, so in a sense, they kind of understand the context, but I like how there's still things that they can tie together, so if someone wasn't paying attention to the timeline, like a surface level movie
and I like all the callbacks to the events of Infinity War and Endgame too, that's been in Phase 4 so far, because that was an event. I mean, before, like, you know, the world had their run-ins with superheroes and they seen aliens come from outer space and destroy big cities and shit, but like half the universe going you know what I'm saying, disappearing. Like that was such a life-changing event for the life of, you know what I'm saying, for the life of the universe, and just how crazy and shocking that was. And I like how Phase 4 continues, you know what I'm saying, continues to talk about that, because realistically, if that happened with us, if that's something that really, really happened, that would be a moment that we would never forget. It wouldn't forget for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Just like with 9/11, we had never seen anything like that, and we still talk about it to this day. But I like how Phase 4 is showing you the effects of what Thanos had done, and how it is, and just seeing the results of what that had done. So all of these newer heroes that we are getting is a result of, you know what I'm saying, these newer, powerful heroes whose power level is going to be even at a higher level now. because just like Tony Stark said, aliens coming out of space and attacking us. I'm doing all this stuff right now because that is the end game. These are the threats we're going to have to. These are the threats that we're going to be facing in the future. So we're going to need heroes that are going to be able to match that. So when we get to Secret Wars, or hell, when Kang is introduced, and Kang starts fucking around with time, because see, people don't understand, like for a lot of casual folks out there, people don't understand how more dangerous Kang is than Thanos. Yeah, Thanos was more of a physical threat, but Kang, he can turn back time to where people like Wanda Maximoff never existed. He could erase her whole life. He could erase everything
in an instant,
and just make things the way that he wants them to be.
Like Kang not playing. Like remember how Thanos used to fucking talk? He not doing all that. You had He Who Remains was doing all that.
Yeah.
But Kang, he not
and
doing
there's
that.
And there's so many different versions of Kang out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many versions of Kang out there, and
everybody's gonna be fighting their own version.
Yeah.
I really think that Loki is really gonna be them pruning universes because of Kang. Like I like that scale. Like I really would think that's, but I also think that's what might be what makes the incursions worse. Not only what Doctor Strange did, because I heard somebody say that originally they said that the Doctor Strange at the end with the third eye was originally supposed to be the Strange from the one he just fought.
Sinister Strange.
They said he was supposed to be him, so it might still be him. And I was like, damn, how crazy would that be for a third movie if he had kidnapped him using the Darkhold somehow, or trapped him using the Darkhold somehow, was able to take over his body, and that's the Strange, and that's why we have incursions, because of what he did, not because of what Strange did.
Yeah.
So I was our Strange.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's gonna get dicey with incursions.
Bro, but Phase 4, it's been crazy and trippy like this so far, because you have a villain that's going to put all of that into perspective for you. And, like I was saying with WandaVision earlier, WandaVision was the perfect start because it got you in tune with the wonkiness and the craziness, because when you see 300 Kangs on screen, and this one's doing this one, and this one's doing that one, you don't know which version you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to get even wonkier than that.
It's going to cake like that. Like,
yeah.
There's going to be like 10 Kangs. But the Thunderbolts is gonna fight one. The Young Avengers is gonna fight one. Ant-Man and them is gonna fight one.
You know how fucking crazy
Loki's
that
gonna
is.
Fight one.
There was a part in the comics where all the Kangs met up at this town hall. It's not, I don't remember what it was, but there were so many Kangs in this room. It was just a room, like it was like a courtroom or town hall or something, all filled with Kangs. There were so many of them. I'm like, y'all just wait till we get to that.
Yeah.
Kang gonna fuck y'all's heads up for real.
It's gonna look like that scene in Loki where he opened up the thing and it's like 10 Lokis looking at Loki. But they all different. Like some do look like him.
Yeah.
But there are other versions that don't. Like, yeah, that's crazy that Loki, like they said that some people's variants do look the same, but like some are like different gender, different animal. Cause like there was a shot in there where they were zooming up from the ground and they had Frog Thor.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Then you had, yeah.
When a frog picked up Mjolnir and he was worthy.
Yeah, you had Crocodile Loki, then you had, classic Loki who don't look like our Loki and stuff. Going back to T'Challa, the multiversal T'Challa is not gonna look the same as our T'Challa. Yeah. So, but it's still T'Challa, just like Loki and Sylvie. They're one and the same, but they are
maybe by the time we get to the third movie they would do that. Maybe they would do that. But I don't know if they planning on that. I think that's why they wrote in T'Challa would have a son. I think that's a good keepsafe. Like, that's a good safe spot. That's safe, like, you can do anything with. People won't turn down the fact that they'll take T'Challa's son as Black Panther.
No.
They won't turn that down.
No, they won't.
So, I think that they could keep that as just a safe thing to do, but I do think that their first option is a multiversal. There's just no way around it. Like after Loki, something could happen, you know, with pruning universes, or something happens where, you know, that Black Panther make it out of his universe or whatever it may be. But I think that something big's gonna happen here soon, because it's either gonna happen in Ant-Man or something because of Deadpool 3.
I'm looking for it to happen in Ant-Man, in Quantumania.
Because Deadpool 3 is still Fox universe.
I mean, Quantumania and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, because of Adam Warlock and the High Revolutionary. That shit gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Remember? Well, yeah, you probably don't remember, but them gold people from Guardians of the Galaxy, they had that cocoon at the end, and Adam Warlock. They said that she called it Adam, but they're bringing Adam Warlock into the MCU, and Adam Warlock is a fucking problem. If depends on how they is he going to be the evil one, or is he going to be the anti-hero one, or is he going to be like the funny?
They do
one?
so much shit with Adam Warlock in the comics. Like there was a point where Adam Warlock had the Infinity Stones, I believe. Yeah, that's a whole. Bro, and you know, and to be honest, I think Phase 4 it mostly resembles how Marvel Comics really is. Yeah. Like the first 3 phases, they did in such a way to where they kind of toned down the craziness, because I mean the comics are fucking batshit crazy. You got this character coming in, then all of a sudden this character has the Infinity Gauntlet, and then they destroy the stones or some shit like that, and then the stones reappear in this like the comics are fucking batshit crazy.
Like T'Challa had the Infinity Gauntlet at a point in time.
Yeah.
He wore it.
But see, what if?
Yeah.
I'm talking about what if, yeah, but what if kind of showed you the possibilities of, you know what I'm saying, of what's going to be taking place. I mean, Multiverse of Madness shows you a little bit of that, but like, I believe those elements are going to bleed into Quantumania. You know what I'm saying? And you know whatever else is coming, Loki season 2. Yeah, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I actually am, because I want to see more of that. Like I want to understand more of that. Of what's going, but something big has to happen, bro, because of Deadpool. They're not gonna just like, something has to happen for him to be in the MCU. You see what I'm saying? So what happens? What movies before his movie where it could potentially happen to where that allows Deadpool to walk into the MCU? Because they said they're not gonna just jump him. There's no way that's gonna and I'm gonna take Ryan Reynolds. We know Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. He wouldn't fly for that shit. There's got to be a way that Deadpool can get into the MCU, and there's going to be something that happens that has to do with it, which could possibly, you know, cause some things where you end up with like a multiversal T'Challa or something down the road or something like that. But I think that something has to happen for Deadpool to be able to come in this motherfucker. I liked the Doctor Strange one, to have him be the 838 Deadpool or whatever it may be, and have him and Domino and Cable come through. But they can already time travel in a sense because of Cable. But I don't know how far that would go with that writing and shit. But like, however they get Deadpool into the MCU is going to be a result of something big that happens that allows that to go down. It ain't going to be like that Morbius Doctor Strange shit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't going to be that cracking open of the fucking and then Deadpool drops. What the fuck? What the shit? You know, it's not gonna be that. He's not gonna just fall out of the sky. Something crazy, something stupid's gonna happen where he falls in, or he does something, or he fucks with Charles, or he does something. He's walking around in the house and finds a portal to our universe, 616 or something, decides to take it, or maybe they end up putting Deadpool in the 97 X-Men reboot or something. I don't know, but whatever. The only way he gets in is if something big happens. That's the only way, because he's not from our universe. So and they said that he's gonna be in our universe. They said that his movie is him coming to our universe, and it's supposed to play on how he adapts in our universe, where he's rated R and our universe is not rated R. So it's gonna be like that, which is gonna be funny as shit. Obviously, it's obviously gonna be funny, but. That's why I have my eye on Ant-Man, and now I got my eye on Deadpool 3, and what happens with that and how that allows him to do that because everything else is pretty far fetched. You know, you got Young Avengers, that's a long ways down the road. X-Men, as far as a team, is long ways down the road because I know Kevin Feige, they do relatable shit, and they're probably going to give Cyclops his own rollout because he's the leader of the team. That's just how they do shit. You know what I'm saying? It would make tons of sense to give Cyclops his own fucking movie or Disney Plus show. One of the two. I would watch a movie of Cyclops becoming Cyclops and then becoming the leader of the X-Men because I feel like he could be relatable on how Marvel likes to deliver these movies. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they'll make him a pussy, but I think that they'll slow cook him and do him the right way, kind of like they did Steve Rogers. We heard Steve Rogers give them speeches and shit in the original Captain America movie, and then he's like standing in front of Avengers as they go out, and Age of Ultron, he's giving them the same speeches, and it's just like perfect. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they'll turn Cyclops like he's a big leader, and I'm hoping maybe they even give us like both X-Men teams, like the blue and the gold team, or like Cyclops runs one and maybe they have Storm run the other one or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I
just know this, man. Like whatever they do with Storm in this iteration of X-Men, like please make her the feel like the leader that she actually is, because if that was like one of my main complaints about like the original X-Men movies, like for her to be as powerful as she is, she was getting her ass whooped quite a bit. And while the movies did show her to be a field commander in some capacity, I don't think they did enough. They did to some degree, but not enough. But I don't like how much she was getting her ass whooped, though, especially from a Class 1 mutant like Callisto.
Yeah, we watched the cartoon. She badass in the cartoon.
Yeah, she badass in comics too.
Well, hopefully, and that would have worked itself out too. That's another thing that sucks too. Is with T'Challa's story, is that you could have had him meeting up because they supposed to be married. You know, that would have been fucking amazing. To have her meet up as a mutant and just have been in the MCU. You know, Wakandan. You know, it just fits in the storyline right now with what we got going on right now. After finding out Kamala is a mutant, you're gonna start seeing not necessarily mutants, but you're gonna start seeing mutants pop up. And I feel like She-Hulk is gonna play into that because she's the lawyer for these people, for these kids. She's probably gonna be defending her, and Daredevil is probably gonna be defending people like Kamran.
Well, yeah. Well, see, you're gonna need that because I mean, where mutants have had to, I don't know how they're gonna write into the MCU just yet, but of course, you know, for a certain people, you know what I'm saying, mutants are not able to fully coexist with everybody else because the government sees them as a threat. So, you know, they want to annihilate mutants and stuff, so they, you know what I'm saying, so they hide amongst people, you know what I'm saying, having to like, you know, suppress their abilities and stuff like that. So to have an advocate like Matt Murdock, you know, and Jennifer Walters and stuff like that, like that's the She-Hulk show is going to be important. You know, I can hear some of the fanboys just typing away right now. Oh, y'all, I don't like this MCU bullshit, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, just get outside or something and quit typing all damn day, and actually go see a woman or something.
She-Hulk's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. I know. I agree with certain agendas being pushed or whatever. Like, I know you don't have to constantly like shove it down our throats or whatever. Like, okay, we get it, but there's some people who just don't like the idea of like these female characters and stuff because they think it's going to overtake everything. And I'm just like, I'll just need to relax.
They hate me, Carol Danvers, for that. You know, I love me some Brie Larson. We're Brie Larson fans over here. She can be my Captain Marvel in any universe, and I think she does a great job. I think maybe that she just needed maybe a better rollout, but at the same time, I think that her rollout coexists to the timeline and it fits just fine. I don't think it's out of place. I just think that, you know, maybe when in her third movie is when we're going to get to actually know about Captain Marvel, like who's her parents, what happened.
I mean, shit, we might find we might find out in the Marvels though. You know what I'm saying, and just seeing her interaction with Monica Rambeau and Kamala, like we might see more layers of Carol Danvers, you know. So
I hope so, because right now it's looking like the Nega Band's timeline, where they swap places.
Yeah.
then I feel like Monica's gonna be the one who has to help Carol get there, or she's gonna end up needing Carol. And there's no telling what Monica look like now.
I hope we see her again before next year because by the time Marvels comes out, you know, shit, we wouldn't be seeing Monica in anything for like 2.5 years, and that's too damn long.
Maybe what's it called? What's the Armor Wars? Is Armor Wars before that, or is it after that?
I don't know where that falls.
If Armor Wars is before it, you might see her there. I don't really see anything else either. Maybe you might see her in She-Hulk, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Or Secret Invasion, possibly. Because that's, you know.
Oh, yeah, she'd probably be in Secret Invasion.
Probably.
If that happens before the Marvels.
Who
So,
knows?
all right, you guys. You all let us know how you feel about Thor, Love and Thunder, Miss Marvel, Black Panther. How you feel about that? I do ever see everybody's comments, and they were talking about T'Challa. I say you recast them, but I feel like, bro, you just got to wait some time. You can't, shove it down the throat. Whatever the way they do it, I definitely don't think they should have just ran up and recasted my guy, or even try to make it to be a surprise. I don't think that just does anything. But we appreciate everybody that's tuned in to the live. We appreciate all the comments. We appreciate everybody tapping in. But you all let us know how you feel, okay? We want to know, and leave it in the comments. And I'll have this video up, or this live stream uploaded, so you guys can leave comments and interact and stuff like that. So we appreciate everybody that tuned in. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Make sure you guys are hitting subscribe. The season finale of The Boys, second season, is coming up tonight at 9 o'clock. And then tomorrow we got season 3. Me and White Gold already did the first episode, which was nuts. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel. We'll catch you all very soon, all right? Ugh.